let's call to order. I have 7:07. Um, some of you were here, some of you were not. Brian Connolly will not be able to make it tonight. And Jeff, our police liaison, is no longer with us. He is moving on to bigger, better things, I presume, over at the PD. And our new liaison will be Officer Rodriguez. Officer Rodriguez does man a lot of the traffic control stuff now. Him and I have spoken previously in the past, mostly about the speed monitoring signs that the police department has at their disposal. Basically, those move around every 6 to 8 weeks, um, or when Public Works is available to move them. And they typically focus on town roads, primarily around schools, but with some of our input, we can move those around a little bit more.
Is that the one they have one on 177 coming down the hill now? Is that one of their
Yep,
things?
yep, that's why that one's there.
My sprint sign.
So, yep, yep, that was at my request. So, or at
No,
your
that's
request through
actually a
me.
really good spot for it because it just reminds people when they're coming down that hill to back
Yeah,
off a little bit.
yep. So
Yep.
you will see that one go away at some point. I forget when that date is, but that one will go away. They'll move it around and then we'll pop it back up in the spring. That's already pre-scheduled. So, with that being said, let's move on. Do we have anyone here for public comment this evening? I see no attendees in the list. Nobody's here. Nobody's not here. Or nobody's here that's not supposed to be here. So count that as a no, and we'll move on. Let me just pull up the agenda. Safety on New Britain Ave at Meadow Lane. Recently, this past weekend, I think it was Sunday evening, someone emailed the email goes to IT, but um, they forwarded me an email regarding bike safety at New Britain Ave and Meadow Lane, let me bring that up for us just for reference. Um, the pedestrian or the cyclist claims that they've been nearly struck twice now by vehicles, and that improvements need to be made. Myself, our public works director, and our new engineer who comes from us from Cheshire. He was the assistant engineer in Cheshire for a few years. All took a look at this, and from what we gathered from the email, it sounds like the cyclist was in the road, not in the um, not on the Rails to Trails network, while we presume crossing Meadow Lane, and his email states that the drivers claim that they did not see him. So let me pull that up for us just so that we can take a look at it.
Do you know from which direction he was crossing?
I don't have any additional information other than what was in his original email.
Because,
So that's a four-way stop sign too, right?
It's actually a three-way. Well, actually, it's a one-way stop sign, but a three-way intersection. You're thinking of
Oh,
Meadow Road, Andres.
oh, I'm
okay.
thinking of Meadow Road. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
oh,
not Meadow Road, it's Meadow Lane.
oh, got it, got it,
So,
got
I
it.
mean, that's more of instead of I
Okay.
wouldn't even call Meadow Lane a road. It's really a shared driveway for three
I was going to
homes.
say it's more of a driveway than anything else. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I don't think high volumes of traffic is the problem here. Um,
No, no.
the town has built out the trail network, and it sounds like this user neglected to use it when it's clearly available right there. Um, I'm not at the right spot, am I?
Are you? So what this likely is this is a sightline issue then.
I I would beg to differ with you on that, Bruce. Let me
Oh,
pull it
okay.
up.
Okay. Well, I'm just kind of speculating. So
Yeah,
Trying
no,
trying to find it on the
without
map.
without having more information, it's hard to even think about what this could be. But, here's Meadow Lane. Can you see my cursor?
yep.
You know, um, Here's New Britain Avenue. I mean, there is Google. I mean,
there's
we've got trees are
there's
cut back 15, 20 feet behind the trail. The trail is three,
Yeah.
4 feet off the road.
Yeah, I know there's plenty of sight lines.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say sightline's the
How
issue.
is he? I mean, I've ridden that. If I'm on New Britain Avenue at that point, I'm going to be on the bike path. But
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. So
and
in his email, he specifically states that one of the drivers yelled out that he didn't see him because he wasn't in, the crosswalk. So we believe that he was in the shoulder of the road, which again is it's
and then
fine. You
and the
can do
driver
that on a
was
bike.
and the driver was turning off New Britain onto Meadow Lane and turned into him, or
I it's unclear. He just said that the
Huh.
vehicles were heading towards him. So either he's on the wrong side of the road cycling, or he's here and they're coming from Meadow Lane or going to Meadow Lane.
It might
Meadow
be
all I
worth
can
it to
doesn't
think
have
of.
just
much
ask
traffic at
him
all.
to clarify, because I mean, we're not going to
Yeah.
be able to get anything from this, I don't think, if we don't know what the
Yeah.
scenario is.
Yeah, I asked for more specific information. I haven't, to my knowledge, I haven't received
I
any.
mean, let's invite him to the next meeting. Why not? Always good to get more people.
I've been trying to
Yeah.
get in contact with him too because he keeps sending the same thing to post on Bike Walk Farmington, and he wouldn't get back to me. His name's John Anderson.
Yeah, that's the name I have, Ron. So, I mean, he said that in his email that, you know, anything short of the rapid flashing lights that we have elsewhere in town are not sufficient. I strongly disagree with that.
Yeah, it
that
doesn't have the volume to
it
need
doesn't
that.
have the volume. It's not. I mean, I think there's 3 or 4 homes on that road. It's not
Yeah.
like it gets a lot of traffic. It's not a cut through. Um, and we're looking at our standpoint from a, practicality well, not practicality, but, if there's a provided, I think this is a 10-foot wide section of the trail, immediately adjacent to the road. As a cyclist, would you not ride on the trail?
And it's not even a detour or anything like that. I mean,
Yeah, so
once your route differs from the bike path, you just hop off the curb, get back on the road, and
Yeah, and
they-
in fact, it's clearly signed and clearly painted.
yeah,
Actually, guys, I find that on this particular section of road, I tend to stay on the road.
I
do?
agree with that.
And the reason for that is you're
Yeah,
just
me
more
too.
visible. You're more visible. A car coming up behind you, if you roll this stop sign, you're very liable to get clipped from the back here. So, but that's just the nature of riding a bike with cars. It's not anybody's fault. It just is what it is.
But not
But,
only that,
Matt,
gotta
are you
look-
talking about this stop sign here or the
Yeah,
one at
I'm
the
talking about
intersection?
if I'm on the bike path and I roll that stop sign, the chances of somebody giving me a right hook here because they're turning onto Meadow Lane is a possibility, which is why you do have to look behind you when you're crossing this.
Yeah.
which you
Now, if
should
he's
do.
not looking and he's just barreling down the path and somebody turns on the Meadow Lane, well, dude, there's a stop sign there and you didn't look behind you. That's 2 strikes against you.
And the other reason why we're on the road is because if we're going 30 miles an hour, really don't want to be on the trail on a crowded day.
Oh God, I wish I could go 30 miles an hour.
right? Seriously.
But yes, you're right. You're right.
Thought you guys can.
Get that level 10 e-bike.
Can we back up to that other intersection? That's the one I thought, or now go forward. This is what I thought he was
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah,
because
so did I. That
I
was
can see a problem with that.
And I found drivers are very courteous on that, and I've never had any issues.
I
Yeah,
agree,
on that one.
Andreas. I agree.
Yeah.
It's a very open, visible intersection.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any sightline potential for any sightline issues except for maybe behind this pole, but that'd
no.
be
Yeah.
for a split second.
No,
And
I mean,
the other discussion is like if you're going to be bike commuting and riding on the road, I mean, you got to do everything you can to make yourself visible and get yourself a really good obnoxious taillight. and the flashing headlight. And between the two of them, at least it'll catch the driver's attention enough to put their phone down until they pass you and go
Yeah,
back to spacing out.
in his email he said he had both a headlight and a high vis vest.
He did, yeah.
He sounds like a
Perfect.
serious cyclist then. You know, it sounds like he probably knows the rules.
Well, I think we're going to go in a big circular motion here. So let's find out what exactly happened.
Yeah,
And-
I
Invite him
can
to the
I
next
can see
meeting.
if I can get
Yeah.
any more information out of him. Ron, if you can get anything, seeing as he reached out to you as well, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm almost scratching my head at what's going on here just because I'm
Yeah.
not.
I mean, I got to tell you, for that type of a really not terribly well used, turning area to what amounts to a driveway, that's really well done in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, to my knowledge, we've never had an issue here before.
I haven't
I
heard of
mean,
one.
so I mean, from the driver's perspective, you're kind of you're taking a look at the trail before you turn in or turn off. And then you might be, you might be creeping up into the crosswalk and then looking for vehicles after that. Is how,
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably pull out of there and turning in, you're again taking a look at the crosswalk and seeing if there's another vehicle coming from the opposite direction, which, to be honest, no one should be coming that fast coming from the intersection. It's such a short distance. Um, so I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure where the conflict is coming, where vehicles are coming head on to this specific individual.
Now I think it's got to be coming the other way.
Yeah.
Or he's
So-
on the wrong side of the road, which doesn't seem, it seems weird if he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Or he's on the wrong side of the road and it's spooking drivers more than anything. Especially if it's at night.
If he's wearing a vest and he's got lights, he's not that dumb.
No. No.
So let's find out what the
Yep.
story is.
Yeah. Again,
Well,
I
I'm glad-
presume he's on this side, and I presume it's vehicles leaving or entering Meadow Lane.
Yeah. I would think it has to be. Yeah.
But I'm not sure what more we could do there. I mean, common sense has to be used. We provide a facility to use that is far safer than being in the road. And my opinion, I heard some different opinions tonight. Take that into consideration, of course.
Well, and the other thing too is even on that road, your sight distances are excellent.
Yeah,
Even if you're
yeah.
on the road, if you're going in the same direction as traffic is, it's really not a bad place.
No, there's no, oh, I didn't see a kind of thing because of a tree or because of the curve, or it is as straight can be and as clear can be. So I don't know, maybe it's negligence on the driver. I don't see how me adding flashing lights or a traffic signal is going to help.
No, I agree.
And I
I
think with
don't-
the traffic signals, we also need to be careful about overdoing it, because if everything has flashing lights and signs and all that, then people tune it out.
Exactly. You don't want to throw too much at them.
Absolutely
Otherwise they
agree
start to
100%.
ignore things.
Yeah. There's
So-
a very, very definite level of overkill with those things.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that's why we remove those speed monitoring signs after 6 to 8
Yeah.
weeks. They lose effect.
they
Yeah,
do. Well,
East-
they do.
East Hartford put one on Main Street going southbound, just underneath when you go under the railroad tracks. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's flashing. Am I speeding? What's going on? And
Yeah.
looked down, I'm not, and it just flashed at you and whatever. And then every day after that, it's there and it's flashing at you. And 3 days later, I've ignored it.
Yeah.
It's because
Yep.
it's a dumb sign. It's not doing anything other than flashing at you when you're going by.
Yeah, it's like white noise.
Yeah.
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 So I
Yeah.
think
Well-
it affects different people different ways, because we had one down on Lakeshore, East Shore Drive, I think it was Burlington. It was there for probably 3 months. And every single time I saw that, it's only 25 miles an hour. Every time I saw it, it reminded me.
Yeah.
So,
I know West Hartford's got one on the cut through from 218 up to Old Mountain Road. I think Still Road maybe, and I think that's a 25. And you don't feel like you want to go 25 on that because it's a straight road, double yellow lines. But and that sign actually is a good one because it says, hey, you're doing a 36. It's a 25, and at least having that speed, like, oh yeah, okay, I need to, versus just a dumb sign on a 6-lane Main Street road.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
one of the reasons why most rapid flashing beacons are pedestrian or bicyclist activated is just because of that. If they're activated, it means there's somebody who's actually trying to do something, trying to get across,
Sure.
right? But yeah, I mean, your point's well taken. I mean, people really do start to discount the damn things eventually. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as someone that's gone through that permit, Bruce, to get rapid flashing beacons with the state, this comes nowhere close to their standards of needing one.
yeah, not even nowhere near.
Not even remotely close. You don't
No,
even have the traffic volume here.
No. In fact, they tell you that you're being an idiot, basically, is what they do.
Yeah, they tell you to look for other methods,
Yep.
to be frank.
Yep. No, I'm quite sure they would.
Yep. So, I'll keep an eye out for an email from Mr. Anderson, or Ron, if you hear anything from him, keep me in the loop. But for right now, I don't think there's anything actionable for this. Our new engineer and our public works director kind of share the same thoughts. Yeah, we've all looked at this from different angles. We're trying to, see how this could play out. But for right now, I think we'll put this on hold and see if we can get more information.
I can tell
That
you,
sound fair?
Dylan, that New Britain Avenue gets used by a ton of group rides coming from the Bristol, Plainville area to get through Unionville. And this is one of the better roads, hands down, to ride on.
Yeah.
The whole length of it, except for the bumps and ruts past the police station. But still, sight distances are excellent. There's not a lot of objects in the way. Speed is reasonable. It's really
Yeah.
good. It's a good road.
Yeah. While we're on the topic, Rich, may I ask you for your opinion as someone who cycles through many towns? Um, do you have anything really to add that hasn't been said yet?
So this isn't
Oh,
Rich,
I'm
but
sorry. I was
go
messing with
ahead.
my computer. No,
Oh.
but I agree with Matt, what Matt just
Go
said
with-
about this road and this intersection. I don't see any issues if I was riding that road. I would stay on the road is wide, wide areas on each side of it. Plenty of visibility when you're approaching the intersections, both intersections, New Britain Ave and Meadow Road and Meadow Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of going round and round with not knowing all the details from what the guy's complaint is. It's I don't see any issues with it at all.
All right. Thank you. And Neil,
And
you were
Matt-
saying something?
Yeah, Matt, I would agree with most of the road, but the intersection of New Britain Ave and Red Oak, that's not a good. There's very poor sight lines there. The way the path crosses is dangerous.
Oh, you just mean
in
the
fact-
guys, especially the guys coming down the hill there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, I saw about a month or 6 weeks ago, there was an accident there. Ambulance, police officer, broken bike. I don't know what happened, but somebody got hit there. And I think it happens in town and it doesn't get publicized. But
I
I'm
think
surprised nobody pointed that out.
I think the thing that's weird about that intersection is you come off a sidewalk to cross over, That's why usually if I'm riding that bike path, I will get off the sidewalk onto the road and use the road to go up the New Britain Avenue and then make the diagonal because you're more visible.
Yeah, but not everybody does that.
Yeah,
True.
in fact, I've always used the road there. I can't recall the last time I was on that sidewalk.
Well, they did a nice job of allowing that to happen because remember it used to be just a curb there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
they smoothed it out. And, you know, from what I've seen, because I take a lot of trips to the firehouse going down that road, people are really good about stopping for people even just approaching the path at this point. As long as they can see them, they'll slow down.
There are problems seeing though, and if you're there in the morning or the evening, whichever, depending on where the sun is, there are an awful lot of blind spots there because of the trees and shadows and things like that. So
yeah, imagine the class we could come up with just on sun angles alone. If we wanted to talk to cyclists about sun angles.
Can we take a scroll on here down to that?
What?
Can we take a scroll just to take a look at that on the map here?
He wants to go down the road.
Let me.
You're scrolling. I go through that intersection every morning and night too. And one thing I found that is important every time is to stop, especially when there's a lot of traffic, and make eye contact with the drivers that might be hitting you, and hand signals, etc. Because you might think a car is waving you on, and chances are they're not. They just want to get home or whatever. So until I know they're stopped, I won't try to coast through that one. It's too dangerous. I agree with Neil on that. But it's requires vigilance on anybody going through it to look out for their own safety.
Yeah, because even if you look at this picture right here, who's looking at what?
Yeah, they just want to go.
Yeah, it's true.
When you come up the bike path on that crosswalk, very easy to get a right hook or
Yep.
a left
Yeah.
hook. you
People
know?
don't even recognize you're there when you're not in the road.
Right.
yeah, and it's actually dangerous to use that sidewalk as a bike trail because then you're coming up alongside cars that don't see you and they right hook you. At least if you're in the road, they see you.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure what can be done about it. I'm just saying that this is the dangerous spot that I see on that length of New Britain Ave.
Well,
Before the potholes.
at one time we talked about going across diagonally and putting a side path on the other side of Red Oak Hill.
Yeah, that would be better.
Here, Bruce.
Yeah, over there. Yep. It never happened, but we did talk about it.
I do like the fact that it's a four-way stop, and you know that does make a big difference. So, you know, you just have to be a little patient. That's all.
Well, honestly, I think the four-way stop there is why there aren't more accidents.
Oh, absolutely.
What's your feeling towards a roundabout?
Well,
I love roundabouts.
Me too.
You
If
don't
I
have
had the
enough.
space, this could be a good roundabout.
You don't have enough room.
No,
I don't think there's enough room.
there's not. We looked at it. There's not.
No, I don't think there is.
It'd be a Glastonbury style roundabout, very teeny tiny.
Yeah, see, I'm not thrilled with the teeny tiny ones. I don't think they actually do anything.
Well, they're effective at slowing traffic down. Granted, they don't go over the middle island.
They are traffic calming, yes, although trucks will just go right over the island.
Yeah, they have to. So
it kind of defeats the purpose, right? I mean,
well, if not necessarily, it's still able to queue vehicle consumer vehicle traffic, pretty well. But I don't think we want to go down that road.
No.
So
no.
just a little light humor. That's all. All right. Maybe with AASHTO's new guidelines, we can, or if once we get our report card from American League of Bicyclists, excuse me, we can maybe take some of their recommendations and apply them here.
First week or two of January, I understand.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's my understanding as well.
My guess
The,
is if we open this intersection up anymore, the guy on the corner of where that bicyclist was just to the left there is not going to be happy about us cutting down his trees.
I
No,
wouldn't imagine any resident would be happy with me cutting trees at this intersection.
No.
no,
So,
no.
So it is what it is, and we just have to teach our folks to be careful.
Yeah, we could think about this. Actually is not a bad spot for some cautionary signage, maybe. Although the signage is pretty good there. I mean,
we got quite a bit of signage here. I think even one of our bronze plates is over here, right? Is it right there?
bronze
That
plates.
wasn't even supposed to go there.
I
They
think
put
it's
the wrong one
silver.
up. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
disadvantage to
they
this
sent us silver
intersection,
last time, Ron,
No,
so maybe
but-
they made a mistake.
the disadvantage to that intersection with the trail coming in the way it does is it almost requires you to look back over your shoulder to see
Yep.
if cars are stopping. And
Yep.
you can't change it, so it is what it is. You just have to be real aware of it.
Yeah, especially coming from the flats there, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's wait till we either get access to the AASHTO guide or let's see what the report card has. I suspect that they're gonna fill it with things that we can do. And hopefully they'll keep us busy for the next few years.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's move on to Farmington Valley Trails Council update. Anything from that, Ron?
no, we didn't have a meeting. We had the year end where Bruce spoke and gave some updates.
Yep, we had the annual meeting. I talked about New Haven and Southington, which is delayed again. Although that has more to do with the Southington Town Council. They're looking to try to change where the trail is actually going. They want to try to use part of the railroad that DOT tried to buy for, I think, 11 years and couldn't make a deal with Pan Am Southern. Of course, it's not Pan Am Southern anymore. It's CSX, who bought the railroad system. So they seem to think they might have an opportunity to purchase a piece, and that would allow them essentially to go kitty corner around Yard Metals, and they'd be out of the picture. DOT is unhappy about that. So there's that. And then Plainville 1, which is Town Line Road to the park. There was an injunction filed by an abutting landowner about 2 months ago that's ground that to a halt now too. By the way, the same lawyer for the Yard Metals suit, which is interesting. It's almost a cottage industry now down there. So the upshot of that is, and I just talked to DOT the other day, instead of doing Plainville 1 first, they're going to do Plainville 2 first, which is Northwest Drive down into the center of town. So that should go to bid spring for the start of construction next year, probably going into early 26 to complete that construction. So that's the current timetable for Plainville. And then they had a somewhat contentious town meeting on the routing for Plainville 3 through the center of town, which is mostly going to be a side path on 177. And there were a number of people that were concerned about takings of their front yard, although the current plan is only to take about 3 feet in order to put the side path in. So stay tuned. That's we'll see where that all goes. And I talked a little bit about Terrafil. So that's the Hartford connector, and that looks to be in good shape. DOT looks like they're going to give us a big chunk of money to do the design for the trail and essentially the new bridge over the Farmington River to get over to Terriffill proper, and then down to the existing what it is, 2.7 miles or so of trail in Terriffill and Bloomfield, and then Hartford is kind of ongoing. CROG is still in somewhat negotiations, although I talked to Mayor Rumpelum of Hartford the other day, and he seems pretty confident that they would be able to basically have two options. The first option would be, and by the way, Bloomfield is going to go straight down the side of the Griffin line. So not on it, but on the side of it, down to Quebeco Shopping Center. And that's where all bets are off. So that's
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it is awesome.
That's a good stretch. Yeah.
It's going to be great. And in fact, the state has already got some money for them. So that's a bright spot. So it's from Albany Avenue, it's from Quebeco Shopping Center down or sideways. That's the issue. And it looks like sideways is going to be option A. So that essentially is going to be through the school campuses. So this is going almost directly east toward Keeney Park. And then Keeney Park already has a trail study going on. And then that would hook up with Riverfront Recapture's north-south trail, which should start construction as early as next year.
Awesome.
So there's a lot going on. So we had a lot to discuss. And we talked about some other things too, but that was primarily what we were discussing was, all these connections. They're finally starting to happen.
Bruce, what about going from Middletown to New Britain? And that
yes.
connection?
So there are two different planning studies out there right now. New Britain's got one, and I can't remember exactly where they got that money from. It wasn't a Rec Trails grant; it was something else. And essentially, that's in process with DOT. The Middletown piece, so going essentially from the Aragoni Bridge, which is where the trail is going to go, where the bottom of the Airline State Park Trail is going to go. I'm on the technical advisory committee for that, so we've got. I suppose I could put a map up if you wanted to, but as a practical matter, there are still some tweaks to be done. Not so much in Middletown. I think the trail in Middletown is figured out. It's getting out of Middletown, going west, because there's such a confluence of wetlands there, and because the existing railroad is only single tracked, you'd have to cross a couple of things anyway. So the thought process now is in fact not to go alongside the railroad, but in fact to go kind of, and it is pretty circuitous, but it kind of goes like this, and then down again toward Cheshire. But they're close.
Bruce, is that the railroad you see off of Route 9 on the right there?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different piece of it, but yeah, that's the same railroad. Yep. And as a practical matter, it's still being used. It's being used for freight, infrequently, but it's still being used. So, they're trying to get something done, before we all die of old age. And so I get it. I understand why they're planning it that way. And then it would hook up with the Canal Heritage Trail, kind of north central Cheshire is the current plan. So yeah, so it's well underway. I would think they had a public meeting in Middletown last week or the week before, but recently. And they're scheduled to have one, I believe, in February to kind of, kick off what essentially is going to be close to the final plan on that.
And how will the Greenway connect to, excuse me, to New Britain? Thank you.
So that's essentially a little further north, but that would be the two phase 2 and phase 3 extensions of the Beeline Trail.
Okay. And then that's gonna go into Plainville or?
Yeah, Plainville. Yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's the current idea.
That's huge to get some east-west finally.
Oh God, it's so hard to build east-west in this state. It's just so hard. So yes, it's going to be a big deal.
All right.
Great, thanks.
Well, thank you for that, kind of a big overall summary of what's going on in the state, what you guys talked about at the Trails Council meeting. Ron, when's your next meeting?
There, where are we? Second Tuesday of January?
Okay.
Mm.
All right. All right, let's move on to public informational seminars. I think last we spoke at the last meeting, we all needed to reconnect on this one, brainstorm some times and dates that maybe worked for everybody here, that we could maybe do some of these seminars. It is um, one of the reporting metrics for the bike friendly community application, which we were not really meeting
What
this
was the
time
metric
around.
that we weren't meeting?
Bike information seminars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't, I don't think we had any, did we, Ron?
I don't think we did. So,
Yeah.
Bike Walk Farmington's in the process of putting together a program at the library, and we're not sure exactly what it's going to look like yet, but there'll probably be separate stations inside the community room, and we'll break it down to for parents, for kids. We have a lot of ideas rolling off, right? Rolling around. We're also trying to get to put a display in the library as well for more community outreach. So, the idea of doing more community outreach, I think, and teaching and stuff like that, we do need to do more. And hoping to
Ron,
do
didn't
more.
we talk about doing something for the
That's what's coming up
Public
next.
Works?
So that's what we're gonna hit on next.
All right,
is
cool.
UI and Neil doing the Public Works.
The best time to do that would be in April. I already have them lined up for training in April with me for MS4 or stormwater permit. And if I do that the first week of April. So if you guys want to start thinking sometime around then, when cyclists get back on the road after the winter.
You assume that cyclists actually get off the road.
I do. I know I'm wrong, but I do.
But yeah, so would it be a weekday thing? How long would it be generally?
It'd be a weekday
An hour?
thing.
No, like 5 minutes. I'm kidding.
15, 20 minutes, a half hour, I would say is probably what you'll be able to get out of most of them. They are all, so the most convenient time for them to have this would be either first thing in the morning, like around 6:30, around 6:30 in the morning, or in the afternoon, like 2 o'clock.
So
I'm thinking in
you
the
said
morning it'd
40.
probably be better at 2 o'clock. They're going to want to go home.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas they might stick around a little longer instead of going to do what their task for the day.
We bring donuts, we're all set.
Exactly. Um, so you guys think about that. Let me know. I'll set that up with our highway guys. They already agreed to it last year, but obviously we didn't get to it. So once you think of a date or a few dates, let me know and I'll try and get something put together.
Do you
Okay.
have any dates in mind that you're planning?
Um, I'm probably going to do My thing either on the 2nd or the 3rd. You guys could do, the week following if you wanted to. It's really up to you. It's nothing too crazy. I wouldn't go into,
So you don't want us to do it the same day you do it?
no, that's a lot of training. They're with me for an hour.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so like the 8th or the 9th next week?
8th, 9th. Yeah, I always go with middle of the week for them. Just, if anyone takes off on Monday or Friday or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I try and stick with a Wednesday. Um, and then if for some reason we have a lot of absentees on the day that you guys select, I'll let you know and we'll try and reschedule for something when everybody's there.
So we'll tentatively put down the 9th.
Okay.
Dylan, will you book that, or how do
Yep.
we make this happen?
I'll make that happen.
Okay.
I work very closely with the highway superintendent, so
Dylan, what
not a
I'll
problem.
try and do is put together something like an outline or something, then Ron and I'll hash it out a bit and you can tell us what you think.
Yeah, and I mean I know last year or earlier this year we were floating around giving them kind of a similar presentation as to what you guys gave to
Sanford and Holly?
yes, thank you.
Sure.
So
If we're
if you
not
guys want to
outside
do
in the
something
snow,
like
we'll be
that,
all set.
yeah. Yeah, if you guys want to do something like that, that's fine too. Um, in terms of presentation, I don't know what equipment they'll have. I'll try and figure that out though.
Yeah, if we've got a pretty decent sized screen, we should be all set.
Yeah.
And a computer, I can hook my computer up to it.
Yeah, let me find out what they've got.
Okay.
Yeah, because Matt, you did have some videos which I think opened a lot of eyes.
Yeah, and I've got a lot more now, and I've also
Yeah.
got videos of cyclists acting stupidly, so at least everybody will get a laugh out of it.
Yeah. But yeah, the video is it's the best way to do it because I think people see it and they can relate to it.
Absolutely. You can show them what you're looking at, what you're seeing, and it works
Yeah.
better that way.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I'll set that up. Let's move on to recreational trails grant. We have the signed agreement from the AG. We're going to be putting out the RFP for consultants in early 2025. But until then, I don't really have any additional updates. It's still the same project, still the same goal, still the same funding. Just have to write an RFP, get that out, and interview for the consultant to work with. So pretty simple process from here till project start, but probably be sometime in February that we could get that out the door. Award maybe April, May, and official project kickoff would be May, June. So, and then it's at about an 18-month project, so we're still, still a long process, but we're not constrained to construction timelines, which is April to about end of October, November. So,
Yeah, and when you've got the RFP, do let me know. I've got a short list to send it to.
perfect. Perfect. All right. So let's move on to our last item, website update. So Carolyn, Ron, Brian, I know I'm forgetting somebody, all met. What was it, the week after our last meeting? Carolyn made a very nice organized list of things that we need to put in there. I think it's a good structure. I think it's a good outline from what we from what I last saw, we need to fill out some of the verbiage that goes in each one of those small sections. We have a lot of the links already. So once we fill out some verbiage, I think after the verbiage, we'll do images. If you guys have any, maybe start looking through them that you would think would be good for the website to share, as long as you're comfortable with it, obviously. But I think that those are the next steps, and hopefully for January or for our February meeting, we'll be able to start getting this published, or at least pretty close to. Does that
Right.
sound reasonable,
Yep.
Carolyn and Ron?
Yeah, I think so. We should maybe decide if we're gonna use like images of people actually in Farmington or stock
I think we
images.
should.
It would be
Yeah.
nice if we had
Use
some of
people.
people actually in Farmington.
Yeah.
Depends
Yeah,
on-
we should definitely use some Farmington photos, but some stock would be fine as well. But I think if the, maybe more recognizable ones are, if it's just a picture of a person on a bike, I think it's fine if it's whoever. But if it's trying to show the trail, I think we should try and pick a Farmington location.
What kind of
Yeah.
photos do you guys need?
Or neighboring town. I'm not sure yet. That's why I want to kind of get pen to paper and write out some of those descriptions for those different sections. Just a little short blurbs for each,
Yeah.
and then kind of
and-
see
and
where
be-
that goes.
Be aware, because this just came up for us the other day, but and I knew it anyway, but you do need written permissions if you're showing their face. So which is one of the reasons why so many cycling photos are people's asses. Because it's so hard to get those signatures, but you're supposed to have releases.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, I don't really think we need too many images. I would think just
Mm.
like one.
Yeah,
nice
just a
picture is
couple,
fine,
2,
but
3.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it doesn't need to be of anyone on a bike. It could just be of the trail, of a bridge, or
Oh, we could take pictures of Ron.
Yeah.
of Ron.
Very photogenic. He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I have a ton of pictures. So yeah, I think maybe what we do is we figure out what you need or a genre of what you need, and we'll just go from there.
Perfect. Well,
I guess,
that's all I had.
I would just say too, we're hoping to have like an events section
Yep.
on the page, and so we would just kind of need, as time goes on, we might need everyone's help just kind of keeping us informed about races or seminars or whatever
Yeah.
We'll be posting those, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we did set the East Coast Greenway dates. So Ride the East out of Willimantic is May 17th. And Ride the State, right through Farmington, of course, is June 28th next year.
Okay. Well, hopefully we have all that set in time to post those events and others before they start getting kicked off in late spring.
So I do have to ask, the 3 feet to pass signs, how come
Yep.
they're like that big?
Oh, you had to
I've
bring
never
that up.
seen them that little before.
3 feet to pass signs. Did they install them?
Yeah.
They're
I
like-
haven't seen them yet.
they're
Well,
tiny.
nobody can see them.
Yeah.
You can't see them.
Maybe that's
You
why.
get a free sticker if you can find it.
Where'd they put them?
Probably in the war.
That's the contest.
Yeah,
You have to
we're gonna
find
have a
it.
scavenger hunt.
They put them on the new bridge over the Farmington, right?
So
No,
on
I-
that, Dylan, I don't know why those were installed, because we asked at the last meeting and in meetings before that not to install them until March, when seasonal cyclists, I'll say, get back on the road.
Yep. Yeah, I
But the
didn't
good
I didn't
news
know
is
they were
nobody-
installing them.
And the good news is nobody can see them, so it's
So we have
one of them's
time.
Actually, yeah, one of
Um,
them on the east side, you can't see as you turn onto the road. It's behind a utility pole. And if you're actually going to try to read it, you're going to miss the car coming out of the side street, and you're going to get T-boned. And the
All right.
one
So-
other, the other one is up by the trail going east. And there's so many other signs there, you're never going to notice that one. So I don't know why we ended up there, but kind of disappointed, as you can tell.
Yeah, let me look into that.
The sign for the deer, not to hit one of the 5 deer that might be there, is like that big, and our little "Don't kill the cyclist" is like that big. It was just kind of weird.
Yeah,
I've
no,
had
there's
deer on my bike before, FYI.
Yeah, you
I can't imagine that ended well for you.
I appreciate the large deer signs.
Yeah.
I hear
but you're
you.
never
Yeah,
where the sign is.
I
If
hear
only the
you.
deer could read them.
Yeah.
I hit a squirrel once. That was bad enough. I can't imagine hitting a deer. Jesus.
I hit it right in the rib cage, bounced
Oh,
off, got back up and moved on.
Wow.
Hey, I just want to say thanks too to the town for fixing the potholes on Meadow Road. They did it like the next day, I think, so.
oh,
after-
yeah, no
after they
problem,
put in the
Rich. I
work
mean,
request.
as long as we know about it, we try and fix it quickly.
No, very impressed.
Thank you. I'll let the guys know.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. All right. Let me figure out what's going on with the. Is it the ride with traffic sign that they put up?
Oh, it's the 3 feet
3
pass.
feet to pass.
Okay.
But on the sign, it's about 1.5 inches.
All right. Yeah. Let me figure out what's going on with that. All right.
All right.
Thank you for letting me know. I'll try and figure out where those came from.
All right.
I know that once the final decision was made, I know that the town manager wanted to get them up sooner rather than later. I don't know if maybe they just went with that direction instead. But we'll get to the bottom of it. So,
All right.
all right.
So then, are we? I'm kind of sorry that Brian couldn't make it tonight. And I would like to just bring something up and keep it as old business at our next meeting.
Sure.
She had mentioned when we were talking back in, I think it was September, about making periodic reports to the town council.
Yep.
As a way to get our message and what we're doing and things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's time to do one of those. Because hearing that the town manager, had discretion to put signs up that are not what we were looking for, we've got to improve that communication.
She didn't.
Right?
She doesn't have. So
All I'm
I guess
saying
I
is
was
we
a
need
bit
to,
misleading,
according to
Neil.
Sure.
So the approval letter is just, it's a direction to, us to get this stuff done, and not necessarily the specifics. So, I'll handle the specifics. It was more, I guess I was a
what
bit
you
misleading with
said
that.
was she wanted them up quickly, as soon as possible when our direction. So if it means that we have to get the town council involved, that's who we report to. And I need, we need to handle it through them. So we're not at odds with the town.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, so Neil,
Okay.
Brian and I both do reports as part of, part of my job, and part of his is being a council member on this committee. We do reports, so they do hear things. It's not coming collectively from everybody, and I think coming collectively from everybody is kind of where we need to go as an advisory committee. So I think starting that in the new year would be a good thing.
Right. Because I've
Yep.
never seen one of those reports or heard any of them or contributed to any of them. And I think we all should.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, just one quick question. Is there any scheduled maintenance for the bike path between Route 4 and 179 up towards Burlington? It's starting to get some ruts and bumps on it, and it's not as bad as the Burlington section, which is kind of like a DOT rumble strip. But ours is, we are getting a little wear and tear on that trail. Do we have possible time for maybe regrinding, resurfacing? Do they have like a schedule when they suggest we do that?
We have two sections that I'm aware of that we would like to do in the near future. One of which would be repaving in between Red Oak Hill and Brickyard Road. And then that might be the other section but
Okay,
I don't
was
have,
just curious if it was on a
yeah, I
schedule.
don't have a timeline for it.
Burlington did get a $600,000 grant to do their piece next year.
Yeah, and we tried for I think the same grant and we weren't successful.
No,
So-
no, we couldn't fund both essentially. That was what the
Yeah.
problem was. So what we did was we figured out which one was
The
worse.
worst, yeah.
Bruce,
That's-
are they
that's
gonna
what-
they gonna deal with the drainage on that? Because that's
Yes,
the
they
real
are.
problem on that.
That's one of the reasons why it was that much money is because that the drainage has to be completely re-engineered there.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that place is brutal now. Because
No, it's basically a waterfall off of the highway. And,
Yes.
and it just doesn't work. So yeah, no, understood. Yeah. So if the town, as a practical matter, figures out which pieces they want to do, let's put our heads together and look for money because there's pots of money out there.
Dylan, one was Brickyard to Big Bird Bridge too.
I'm sorry, what was that, Neil?
Brickyard Road to Big Bird Bridge.
Yeah, that's gonna be encompassed when we do Brickyard Road to Red Oak Hill.
Okay.
Yep.
And does that still include the cleaning up the canopy?
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, we have to wait on that section, Neil, because right now that development at the at Carol's hot dog stand and the Meineke that is in the process of being purchased. So we're gonna wait to see how that shakes out because part of their approval is lowering the trail slightly so that they can get a ramp up to the trail. So
Yeah, but there comes a point when we can't wait much longer.
no, I understand that.
Okay. I mean, that
And
could
at some
take
point
years
they'll
for
have
that.
to just cut and do it. I get
Yeah.
that, Neil. It was supposed to be this past year. It wasn't because both developers unfortunately passed and the project got put on hold and the families decided to sell and it's been a little bit of a legal episode. I'm sure for a nice soap opera, but that should be coming to a wrap soon and we'll know their intention then. And if it's 10 years out, then we move ahead. We can't wait forever. You're right.
Dylan, just one quick question on Burlington Road and George Washington Turnpike. Are they going to finish that in the spring now? Is that why the signs are covered up?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Are we gonna name the parking lots? Is there any actions we need to do on that so signs can be purchased and named and maps updated?
That was a trail council
Okay.
initiative, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, I think I brought it up here.
Yeah, you brought it up here, but I thought the trail council was doing the names. Are we doing the names,
I
Ron?
mean, I haven't even heard them discuss it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are there specific requirements for the names, or can we come up with stuff? Is that something you want us to do, or what?
I don't see why not. We haven't, across the town, we haven't really named much of anything. The bridge, the current bridge over the river is the Preston Reed Bridge because he was the founder of the Trails Council. But I don't think we've named anything else, quite frankly, to my knowledge.
I mean, it'll definitely help on, with the two parking lots on New Britain Avenue. And
I
know,
agree.
and then whenever the Trails Council decides to update maps, it'd be nice to have just a little table on the side, Brickyard parking lot at mile 1.2, that New Britain parking lot can be, the Goralski parking lot at mile whatever. And no? Or
No,
you're
thank you.
claiming the porta potties?
Yeah, I'd rather have a porta potty. I'd rather see it be named after Bruce.
I could think of a couple
I
of
agree.
people that are not Farmington residents who've contributed greatly to cycling that are deceased and would probably be good for names. I could throw them out there for you guys to check out if
Yeah.
you want.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Just so you're aware, I did deliver the new and improved GIS shapefile to the map consultant for the Farmington Valley Trails Council for the new maps. So that's kind of in process, just to be aware. So you might not make this round of map printing.
Okay.
Could you share that with me, Bruce, so that I can have our GIS consultant add it to our GIS system?
Oh, that's smart. Yeah. Okay, I will. Yes.
Perfect.
will.
Thank you.
Yep.
But the names can still go on the interactive map, right, Bruce?
Oh, of course they could. Yeah. That's easily updated. Yeah. And in fact, we'd also update the feed on Connecticut Trail Finder too at Yukon.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. So you could, no, that's not hard to do.
All right. Great. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, do send me that and I'll have them upload it to our GIS system and under our trails layer.
Okay, cool.
Although nothing really should have changed in Farmington. So
No, I don't think, to my knowledge, I don't think we changed anything in Farmington, but I'll send it to you
Yeah.
anyway, just so you have it. Yeah.
all right. Anything else to add before we come to a close?
Yeah, Dylan, you got that. Well, you're rubbing your eyes. And you have that little growth on your face there. You got the new dad look going there.
Uh-huh.
How you holding up?
I was
I'm
actually
doing
thinking,
all
I was
right.
actually thinking the same thing. Yeah. I mean, you actually look pretty good for being a new dad, quite frankly. I recall
Thank
being a wreck. So, yeah.
Thank
I
you. I'm
think
trying.
that's why we were a one and done after 3 years of that. And it's like, oh man. But the good news is that like when your baby's getting about 2 years old, they'll fit a Strider and do not ever get training wheels.
Nope.
It's a crutch. So
Nope,
Yeah.
we have two Striders.
oh, awesome.
They're
Great.
zooming around.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. No training wheels. Training wheels are the work of the devil. Yeah.
Yep, my son will drive into just about anything, unfortunately, and my daughter is just getting brave enough to lean into it and go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So-
sweet.
Good.
Oh.
Start them young.
We try.
There's a good community of younger siblings of the kid bike racing leagues in Connecticut. So, in our area we've got Farmington Valley Youth cycling team. And there's definitely a bunch of little Strider kids zipping around at the bike race at all the cross races, and it's fun to see them out there with other little kids. Just having a ball, while watching their older siblings race.
So, Andres, you may appreciate this. Matt Waskowitz was one of the names I thought of for one of those parking
Oh,
lots.
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Dave Hoyle's the other
Yeah.
one.
Yep. The two of them were definitely fitting.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Those are actually very good names. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
All right.
that's a great idea. We could do that for the two New Britain ones, which are confusing on their own as being New Britain, and the other ones we could leave as everyone knows the Brickyard parking lot is Brickyard. So, but actually no, because then you got Avon Brickyard and Simsbury Brickyard or whatever.
Well, we'll figure it out. We'll come up with
Yeah.
some good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, perfect. Well, email me those names. Can float them around, see what people think, and we can at least name them unofficially. I'm sorry, Ron. I really thought it was part of a larger picture, with the Trails Council for that, but
Well, we are naming the Farmington River Trail. So maybe you got mixed up with that. Or
maybe.
Or coming up with a logo. Listen to me. Coming up with a logo. Yeah.
Whichever. Not important anymore. Well, we'll get the names floating around and figure something out then. All right.
All right.
All
Okay.
right. Well, I think that's it.
Dylan, could you do me one favor and just send me the dates of the meetings again, if you don't mind?
Yeah, no problem.
Mine got lost. I apologize for missing the last two, guys.
That's fine. I gotta set up the whole Zoom thing anyways. So you'll get all that in the next week or so, and we'll be all set. So, but I'll push it back out.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Motion
All right,
to
I
adjourn?
guess. Someone second.
I'll second that.
Second. All right. I have 8:13. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Andres, Bruce,
Good night.
Ron, Rich, Carolyn, Neil. Thank you all.